For the first time in Social Security's history, the average monthly payment has crossed the $2,000 threshold, hitting $2,002 per month. This isn't just a number on a government spreadsheet. It's a milestone that affects 67 million Americans right now and potentially changes how you should think about your retirement planning.
The timing couldn't be more critical. While retirees are celebrating bigger checks, there's a complex story behind this increase that most people aren't hearing about. I've been digging through the latest Social Security Administration data and trustee reports, and what I found reveals both good news and some concerning realities that every working American needs to understand.
Here's what's really happening. This historic jump isn't just about cost of living adjustments. There's a deeper shift occurring that could fundamentally change Social Security's future, and I'll show you exactly what that means for your benefits. HH, main body. Let's start with the obvious question. How did we get here? The average Social Security payment jumping to $2,002 represents a 3.2% increase from 2024, which was driven by the annual cost of living adjustment. But here's where it gets interesting. This increase is actually smaller than what we've seen in recent years. In 2022, beneficiaries saw an 8.7% increase. In 2023, it was 5.9%. This year's 3.2% signals that inflation is cooling down, which sounds great until you realize what it means for future benefit growth. When inflation runs hot, Social Security benefits get bigger jumps. When it cools off, those increases shrink too. The real story is in the numbers behind the average. When Social Security says the average payment is $2,002, they're talking about all beneficiaries combined: retirees, disabled workers, and survivors. For retired workers specifically, the average is actually higher at around $2,050 per month. But averages can be misleading. Here's why. That average includes someone who worked minimum wage jobs their entire career and receives $800 per month, alongside someone who maxed out Social Security taxes for decades and gets $3,500 monthly. The person getting $800 isn't seeing this milestone as particularly exciting, while the high earner might consider $3,500 just a starting point for their retirement income. Think about it this way. If you're 25 years old today and making $60,000 a year, Social Security's current benefit formula would replace roughly 40% of your pre-retirement income. That means you'd be looking at about $2,000 per month in today's dollars when you retire. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the catch that most people miss. The Social Security Administration's own projections show that without changes, the trust fund will be depleted by 2034. That doesn't mean Social Security disappears. It means benefits would be cut by about 20% across the board. Your $2,000 monthly benefit suddenly becomes $1,600. This is where the politics get messy. Nobody wants to cut benefits for current retirees, and nobody wants to raise taxes significantly. But the math is pretty straightforward. More people are retiring, people are living longer, and birth rates have been declining for decades. There are simply fewer workers supporting each retiree than there were when Social Security was designed. Now, let's talk about what this milestone actually means for different groups of people. If you're already retired and collecting benefits, this is mostly good news. Your check is bigger, and you're insulated from most of the long-term funding concerns because you're already in the system. Politicians are extremely reluctant to cut benefits for people already receiving them. If you're in your 50s and 60s, you're in what I call the transition zone. You'll likely receive full benefits for the early years of your retirement, but you might face benefit cuts later if Congress doesn't act. This is why financial planners are telling people in this age group to have multiple backup plans and to consider delaying retirement if possible to maximize their benefits. For younger workers, the picture is more complex but potentially more manageable.
Yes, you have time on your side, and Congress will almost certainly make changes before 2034 because the political consequences of not acting are too severe. But those changes will likely involve some combination of higher taxes, later retirement ages, or benefit modifications. The good news is that you have decades to adjust your planning accordingly. The $2002 average also highlights a broader issue. Social Security was never designed to be anyone's sole source of retirement income. The Social Security Administration itself recommends that Social Security should represent only about 40% of your retirement income. The other 60% needs to come from personal savings, 401ks, IRAs, and other sources. Here's a practical example that shows why this matters. If you're earning $75,000 per year and want to maintain a similar lifestyle in retirement, you'd need about $60,000 annually. Social Security might provide $24,000 of that, 40%, leaving you to cover the remaining $36,000 from other sources. That's $3,000 per month you need to generate from your own savings and investments. To put that in perspective, if you want to generate $3,000 per month from a retirement portfolio, you'd need roughly $900,000 saved up, assuming a 4% withdrawal rate. That's a big number, but it's achievable with consistent saving over a 40-year career. There's another angle to this story that affects timing. When you claim Social Security makes a huge difference in how much you receive. The $2002 average includes people who claimed early, at full retirement age, and those who delayed benefits. If you claim at 62, your benefits are permanently reduced by about 25–30%. If you wait until age 70, they increase by about 24–32% beyond your full retirement age amount. Let's say your full retirement age benefit would be $2,000 per month. Claim at 62, and you might get $1,400. Wait until 70, and that same benefit becomes $2,640. Over a 20-year retirement, that's the difference between receiving $336,000 total versus $633,600. That's nearly $300,000 more just for waiting 8 years. But here's what caught me off guard while researching this topic. The $2002 average might actually be understating how much new retirees are receiving. This average includes people who've been on Social Security for decades, and their benefits are based on much lower historical wages. New retirees in 2025 who had higher lifetime earnings are seeing initial benefits closer to $2,500 or even $3,000 per month. The maximum Social Security benefit for someone retiring at full retirement age in 2025 is $4,018 per month. That's a significant jump from just a few years ago. This creates an interesting dynamic. While the overall system faces funding challenges, individual benefit amounts for new retirees are actually growing faster than many people realize. It's a reminder that Social Security benefits are highly personalized based on your earnings history and when you claim them. There's also a geographic component that doesn't get much attention. That $2002 average has very different purchasing power depending on where you live. In rural Mississippi or Oklahoma, $2002 might cover most of your basic living expenses. In San Francisco or Manhattan, it barely covers rent for a studio apartment. This geographic disparity is becoming more pronounced as retirees migrate to lower-cost areas. States like Florida, Texas, and Tennessee are seeing huge influxes of retirees, partly because Social Security dollars stretch further there. It's creating a new kind of retirement migration pattern where people are literally chasing the purchasing power of their fixed incomes. So here's what we know. Social Security hitting an average payment of $2,002 per month is historic, but it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. For current retirees, it means more purchasing power in an inflationary environment. For future retirees, it highlights both the program's current strength and its upcoming challenges. The key takeaway isn't to panic about Social Security's future or to assume it'll disappear. Instead, use this milestone as a wake-up call to understand what your benefits might look like and plan accordingly. Check your Social Security statement online, understand how your benefits are calculated, and, most importantly, don't rely on Social Security alone for retirement security. Congress has solved Social Security funding crises before, and they'll likely do it again. But the solutions probably won't be painless, and they definitely won't happen overnight. The smart move is to plan for multiple scenarios and build financial resilience that doesn't depend entirely on government benefits. What do you think about Social Security crossing this $2,000 threshold? Are you surprised by the numbers, or does this change how you're thinking about retirement planning? Drop a comment below. I read every single one and often reply. And if this breakdown was helpful, hitting the like button helps more people find videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.